Hi, local main character Zep here. Don't worry, I'm just doing one of my favorite side gigs. Being a Christ-like figure. This little cross-bearing thing started like any other mistake of mine, in the Bakugan aisle.
There are only really two big titans of plastic genre hobby Annie in the American toy aisle, Bakugan and Beyblade, both historically marred in their international release. So seeing a third contender caught me off guard. It made me say, is this Roblox? This is Akedo by Moose Toys. If you've gone through a toy aisle, you've seen their stuff. The Aussie company owns Shopkins, Magic Mixies, Treasure X, Gujitsu, and a whole bunch of surprisingly big names of licensed toys. They have a games division as well as a temporarily racist line of dolls. Oops. Come on guys, that's not even your group of indigenous people that you forcibly colonized in the name of Britain. And looking at the Akedo logo, the cultural insensitivity isn't over yet. Well, at least they treat their workers well, apparently. Akedo is the battle collectification of Rockem Sockem Robots. It's been done before, but probably not this well. And it's about time. You'd think that Rockem Sockem Robots would be easy to adapt, but no, not really. As it turns out, punching a guy in the head can only get so complicated, so these guys spice it up a bit via stats and little spinning gimmicks. Each Akedo figure can be placed on a base called a controller. On each controller, there is a spring-loaded trigger mechanism to quickly rotate the figure. Using your figure's weapons, whether it be sword, board, flail, fist, or foot, you try to hit your opponent's head. And if you do, their fighter splits in half and you split strike them. Different fighters get different poses and different weapons to fight in. This means to some minor extent, range and blocking hits becomes a consideration for matchups, which is kinda neat. The basic game ends there, but each figure has a health, damage, and point cost total on them. Build a team with 15 points and do a gauntlet match. Players set their controllers to match their character's health stat and subtract the opponent's damage every time they score a split strike. And once a figure loses all of its health, they're defeated, and that player chooses their next fighter until their entire team gets knocked out, or knocks the opponent's team out. The last player with fighter standings wins the game. It's simple, but it's also for baby brains, so I think it's fine. The tots don't need to be able to resolve Small World. The second season, Power Storm, focuses on adding elemental damage and defense bonuses for each figure, as well as inheritable stat bonuses if your next fighter matches the elemental color of the bonus of your downed figure. Those features, plus giant fighters with armor guarding their split strike buttons, higher stats, and higher point costs, give kids plenty to chew on without making any fighters inherently useless. It's a tight, simple piece of game design to introduce kids to more complex tabletop games. It's cute.
So yeah, why the cross to bear? You see, I said hobby Annie. I've only mentioned hobby, but that implies Annie. What if I told you the Australians made the greatest hobby Annie ever made? This week, exclusively for YouTube.
The show, available entirely on YouTube, has 5 to 11 minute episodes and an understanding of anime from 2003's Teen Titans. You know, this is less chibi and more while clearly paced for TikTok-wired iPad kids, a term I use begrudgingly and endearingly, the series is surprisingly high quality. The jokes mostly land, the women are given time to shine, and the world champ goes by they-them pronouns, the biggest leap forward in hobby Annie since Yu-Gi-Oh! Said kink at Pride. The series draws a lot of similarities to Chaotic, where players go to an alternate world, in this case VR, where they collect characters who fight in real-time anime battles in the structure of the game rules. Unlike Chaotic, however, these battles use what seem to be real toy stats, real toy gimmicks, and reference real-life products without any of it feeling like an ad. The fact fights are just MMA matches supplement the simple rules for fun matches that are animated well enough and don't overstay their welcome. It felt like the toy game enough that it made me want to buy the toys. The Bakugan reboots, notably, have not done this. Yeah, I'm buying Bakugan because I'm in too deep, not because Geogan Rising was Kino. Somehow this Aussie company is doing what Spin Master Stern And Bakugan literally caused the mid-aughts battle hobby boom. Their mascot figure looks like the battle pass. How are you making excuses, man? Akedo is an incredibly thoughtfully designed Western hobby anime series for kids. It's all seemingly simple, but has enough bite for kids to sink their teeth into. It's a great entry point for young kids who want to collect a battle hobby game with card gamey elements and actually still play the game. If you're older, you can probably skip it, but they're very cheap to just try out or buy a few. The mystery box singles are like $6 and $4 on clearance, and a starter kit is like $12 clearance.
So, now it's your cross to bear too. So crucifixion isn't like lethal, right? Like no one's ever died on a cross.